Morning, everyone. This was the topic that Kirstine gave me to talk about channel migration and how Harrow have got 90% of transactions online. But in kind of a long-standing Jadu tradition, I won't be sticking to topic. And we're spending quite a lot of time talking about personalisation and what we plan to do next with our website. So this is the bit where normally you'll see some demographics and some stats about Harrow, but I've decided to show you a load of photos of Harrow in the movies and famous TV programmes to try and give you a bit of background to Harrow. So Harrow was the scene for the famous part of Fawlty Towers with John Cleese smashing a car with a branch, was filmed in Kenton. Harry Potter, parts of Harry Potter was filmed at Harrow School. According to some of our residents, some of the magic and sorcery of Harry Potter has rubbed off on the council, and we're excellent at making their council tax disappear. The Theory of Everything, the Stephen Hawking's biopic, was filmed on Harrow on the Hill as well. Excitingly for us, recently our Civic Centre has become a film set, and we had the Hitman Bodyguards starring Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds filmed in our council chamber, which doubled as the European Court of Human Rights. It was a surprise to us as well, because it's... And also, we are making regular appearances on both You Can't Pay, so we'll take it away, and we've made 6 appearances on Nightmare Tenants and Rogue Landlords. I just wanted to show the photos of this, but it does kind of give you an impression, like all kind of London boroughs and other parts of the country, that Harrow's got a diverse set of customers. We've got some very rich and areas who've got particular customer services needs. We've also got a lot of deprived areas that have a totally different set of needs. And finding ways to meet all these customer needs has been a challenge for us. So, where we are now. So, the headline was, how do we get 90% of inquiries through self-service? Basically, it's been a lot of hard work. But starting with the call volumes, over the last 5 years, we've gone down from having nearly 900,000 calls a year answered by customer service advisors down to 407,000. We've got to the point of starting to shut some of our channels, so we don't take calls about parking anymore, we don't take calls about education. And obviously, in terms of council finances, this has had a big saving attached to it. So it's saved the council £2.5 million a year. In terms of face-to-face, we made some significant changes to our face-to-face services 4 years ago. Previously, we had a one-stop shop in our civic centre that had 27 customer service booths. It had people queuing out the door, and it was a nightmare to manage. We came in from the approach that people actually don't want to come in to see the council. It's not their choice. It's not they're coming because often in lots of cases our business processes are forcing them to come in. So we made a lot of changes to everything that people came in to see us about, digitalised it, and we got rid of 23 of our customer service desks, so we've only got 4 left in the Civic Centre, and have developed a customer self-service centre. So you come in, our advisors will sit with you and get you to do it online for yourself. And so that has seen a drop to now we have only 6,000 visits a year into the Civic Centre. Emails is an interesting one. About 7 years ago, we started to push lots of people to email, and we very, very quickly regretted it. Honestly, it is the worst channel to deal with in terms of customer service. And we kind of found 2 reasons for that. First is the unstructured nature of emails. People email in, they rant at us, but they don't give us enough information to complete their transaction. And it starts this dialogue of emailing backwards and forwards, asking for more information, getting a rant and a bit more information, and then another rant and more information. But the other part that also has appeared to be a problem with email that we didn't quite first anticipate is customer expectations. When someone sends an email, they're expecting a very quick response. When we haven't replied within a day or 2 because our phones are ringing, they phone us up. They're even angrier because we've ignored their email. We answer their query on the phone, then we get around and answer their email afterwards. So it started to become a lot of double handling of contact. So we spent a lot of time over the last 5 years. It's like shutting Pandora's box trying to close these email accounts and trying to move people away from the email addresses we opened. That kind of moves on to our what probably our favourite form of contact in digital is the web forms. So we now have 475,000 web forms submitted every year, which is actually now bigger than our call volumes. So this is our favourite type of contact because we're getting exactly the information that we want. We're also setting the customer's expectations when they're completing their web forms. So if it's going to take us 2 weeks to answer it, we make that very clear to customers when they submit their form. We've also seen a rise in web visits. I think it's just a trend across most councils and across kind of all sectors that web visits are going up. For some reason, we get 2.9 million visits to our website a year. If we're honest, we're not entirely sure what a lot of people there are doing, but it looks good on the stats that it keeps going up. The other key thing that we've spent a lot of time working on is the logins to our authenticated account. So we started on this about 10 years ago. It was kind of mainly based around council tax and benefits. We've really expanded out to the rest of our council services. And we now have, again, we have over 500,000 logins each year to our online account, which again has exceeded the number of phone calls that we get as well. So this is kind of some of the stats that sit behind the moving 90% of our inquiries online. I guess some of the bits you'd probably want us to cover is how did we do it? Basically, it's really, really hard work, and it's taken us 15 years of getting things right, but also getting a lot of things wrong. I guess in the time we've got, I was just going to cover some of the tips and pointers, but one of the key things that we learned is, and the hardest things to achieve, is organisational buy-in. And I think it's sometimes it's out of our control a bit of how much the organisation is bought into digital. In Harrow, it's been the key to lots of the changes that we've made. Early on, we had lots of battles with directors and chief execs saying, do we put these services online? How far do we automate it? But we've been thoroughly supported by senior management, members. So every time issues and disputes got escalated, they would come down on the side of kind of digital, and that's made buying the rest of the organisation into the changes we're making a lot simpler. Also, as this slide represents, we've eaten a lot of sugar. Sugar has been pretty key to our digital work in Harrow, not just biscuits, donuts, sweets, like pretty much anything with sugar has been pretty key to digital. So, again, trying to go over a few key points quickly. These are some of the foundations we had for digital in Harrow. It kind of goes a bit against digitalisation. A great start was a good call centre. We built a call centre in Harrow about 15 years ago that covered all council services. So every bit of customer contact came into our call centre. There was nothing outsourced. There was nothing left in the services. What that meant in terms of digitalisation is that we could take control of the processes we were going to put online. And it's something the team here are tired of hearing me say is, if you digitalise a rubbish process, you end up with a rubbish digital process. So a lot of the work in creating good processes was done by building a good call centre. In Harrow, we've had a transactional website with Jadu for a long time. Our website, there's no compromise in it. It is focused around transactions. Comms, IT, all come secondary to building a transactional website. Our members, our chief exec understands there's a saving figure attached to channel migration, and the key to that is having a transactional website. We also invested early in a single customer account across the council. We don't have different logins for different services. We have one customer account, and investing in that enabled us to deepen transactions with customers. So as soon as we could authenticate who we were talking to, we can offer a deeper digital service. And the last one often is a bit more of a battle, is creating digital capacity within the organisation. Doing the channel migration and building digital services is resource intensive. And it's not just a technical service, it's doing the business process mapping, customer analysis. And we've been fortunate at Harrow to have an excellent team. Some of the team members, Tarek, Laura and Pauline, are here today. And to be honest, we spend a lot of time taking credit for their work, but you need people to do this work. It isn't about buying technology, although technology does help. It's about doing the work of understanding business processes, customer journey mapping and so on. That's what builds really good digital services. So these are some of the uptake principles, because you can build all these services, but getting people to use them is another matter altogether. And I think traditionally councils spent a lot of time focusing on doing the building, but they didn't really think about how do you get people to use these services. So at Harrow, we love stats, particularly in customer service and digital. We spend a lot of time looking at our contact on our website, contact on our call centre, and understanding what residents want, because sometimes we get a bit of a skewed idea of this. So at the start of our digital journey, we spent a lot of time focusing on the things customers contact us most about. So we got missed bins right, we got our council tax forms right, and being successful in those areas created a story that we could take to the rest of the organisation, saying, look what we've done here, let's go on and let us look at your processes too. Making the process behind the online transactions work is essential. I think at the start of digital, lots of customers lost confidence in the council and what they did online because they were getting nothing back. Transactions can't go into a black hole, because at the start of all of this, quite often they did. And then you've got to work even harder to win the customers back to believe that the digital services work. I think in your own personal experience, if you don't trust an organisation, you have a tendency to phone them up because you don't trust them. So we quickly learned that all our digital services have to work. And with all of this, you start to change your customer perceptions that the council is an organisation that you deal with online. We've worked on processes such as moving into the borough, parking permits, these processes that are key influences in setting up people's perceptions that the council is an online organisation. The other bit that lots of areas, like other councils, struggle with is joining your council up. We know inside councils, we operate in massive silos, but the customers don't understand that. We've got to join the council up on the website as we try and do in the contact centre. So, like I said earlier, we don't allow other services to be putting different portals on there. We don't allow separate logins. We're always trying to cross-sell other services. If you're doing your council tax online, we'll be pushing you that you can do your school admissions online. If you come on to Harrow to report a missed bin, you'll have the same process for reporting potholes and fly tips. And I can't get across how important that is in setting customer expectations that you deal with the council online. What happens next? So we've got 90% online, but as always, there's another challenge coming around the corner. At the moment now, the Harrow Council has decided we are actually going to close the majority of our contact centre. So we're going to be closing all public realm services, we're going to be closing council tax and building control, and we're going to be closing the phone lines for revs and bends eventually. These aren't decisions that the council's taken lightly. I think as with every council, we're facing very serious financial pressures. And the choice really was between closing the call centre, reducing bin rounds to once every 3 weeks, or removing social workers. So they're really serious decisions, and none of the options are particularly attractive, but members and senior leadership went with closing parts of the contact centre. That's obviously given us some new challenges in digital, so we're going to have to start dealing with a lot more complicated transactions that traditionally we kind of would leave to people to phone us up about. So the things we're looking at are things that require both information advice and personalised information. So it's going to be a real challenge to move these complex transactions online. We're also getting increased expectations for online services, firstly from customers. I think the customer expectation of what you get online is increasing all the time from what you get in the private sector. They're expecting a slicker customer experience, they're expecting more tracking and seeing what's happened to service requests. But the other side, we're also getting increased expectations from services within the council. Every area of the council has got sets of savings and transformation to do with their service. And everyone wants to move more of their services online because they see it as a cheaper way of delivering service. So we've got this increased demand from within the council to put more things online. Residents want a slicker service when they access this online. So we're going through a process of redoing all our digital presence. So working with Jadu, we're building a new website. We're also replacing our customer account and replacing all our 180 forms, which will all complete touch wood, by the end of March. So while Tarek, Pauline and Laura are here, we've got a team of people back in the office working away on it. So in terms of the website, we've got a challenge. In our view, the website is about finding things as quickly as possible. It's a navigation tool to get you to the information you're looking for. And it could be a bit of a nightmare on a council website. We offer, on the last count, we offer 450 different services, and getting a customer to those services in as fewer clicks as possible is becoming increasingly challenging. We've done some research, and there's quite a lot of research in the market that's saying the more clicks you take to find the content you're looking for, the more likely that customer is to get lost. So it does become a bit of a game of where's Wally looking for some of the stuff on our website, especially the more obscure services, some of the stuff around adult social care, children's services, they're all hidden away. So we came to Jadu with this and said, we've got to find a better way of getting people to find what they're looking for on the website. So they came up with this representation. It also works for people with features on their face as well as people with no features on their face. But our current website, we show the same website to everyone. No matter who they are, when they're visiting us, they see the same website. And probably 4 or 5 years ago, that was fine because people were coming mainly for the same transactions. But now, with the contact centre closing, people are coming for more and more different things. And it's becoming more and more challenging for residents to find what they're looking for. So we're looking for the personalised approach. And I think Suraj touched on it on his keynote about signals. What information can we use about that user sitting there to start to anticipate the content they're looking for on the website? So different times of day, different times of year, you're going to start to see an ever-changing Harrow website. Each time you come onto it, you're going to see something that's different, that's trying to anticipate the services you're looking for. So how are we going to do that? In our digital infrastructure, our customer account and our website have always set quite separately. They kind of look the same, but no information passes between the two. So a key part of providing information we need to personalise the website is joining the customer account and the website tightly together. So the information flows from all the authenticated accounts, starts to feed into the website. So that means, it starts to mean we get a lot more powerful signals. So we'll know what type of accounts people hold, we'll know what type of transactions they've made, we'll know accurate location. So all this information is going to be passed to the website from the account to start providing very powerful signals to personalise it. And it won't be just when you're logged in and from the account. There's lots and lots more information that we can start to personalise the website with. We're going to know what pages you viewed previously, so we can start to anticipate what you're most likely on the website to see next. We'll use location, both from the account and from the browser, to start to work out what area of Harrow you're from. We'll demo the site very quickly in a minute, and you start to see some of the personalisation there. We'll also be able to anticipate the different service demands based on that location. So if you, for example, you're logging in from an area that had a bin collection yesterday, we kind of make a guess that you might be on the website to report a missed bin. We can prioritise that transaction. We can personalise about device, and it's not just about making the website mobile friendly, it's about anticipating the transactions you're more likely to make on a mobile phone. So if you're on a mobile phone, we're going to prioritise reporting flight tips, reporting potholes, the location-based transactions. Also, we're going to look at kind of time of day, time of week, time of year. We know that our service demand goes up and down for particular things based on that, and those signals will start to affect what's on there. So this is the prototype of the new Harrow site. So we're going to pull the person's name. So not everyone in Harrow is called Heather. It would be easier if they were, because we wouldn't have to personalise that. So we're going to take your name, say good afternoon. Again, it doesn't add loads of value, but it's starting to give customers the confidence that this is personalised, it's up to date. It's those little signals that we've got to get better at. Based on the account signing, we're going to know which part of Harrow you're in. And like probably a lot of your boroughs, people don't identify probably with the area as a whole. They know that they come from different regions within Harrow, whether it's Harrow, Hatch End, Stanmore. So we're going to personalise it. We're going to tell you that we know where you live. The picture in the background, this is one of our favourite bits, will be personalised based on the area that you are from Harrow. It will also change from day to night. So if you're logging in the evening, you'll get a nighttime picture of your area. It'll also be seasonal. And while it sounds part of us felt it sounded a bit pointless, but every time we talk people through it, well, mainly members, they love it, but also it's going to give customers that confidence that the website's up to date, it's changing. They'll trust the content more because that photo represents where they're from, it represents the season they're in. The My Activities box across the middle would be our best guess based on the signals we're receiving of the thing you're most likely to be on the website for. So we'll take information from the account, we'll take information from your previous browsing history, and these will be our 4 best guesses at the thing you're here to see. So we know from that you're logged into your account, that you're a housing tenant, and you're due to pay rent in the next few days. So that will be the first option you see on there. Do you want to scroll down a bit? These boxes here will be pulling different bits of information from our back office systems. So we'll know that your next bin pickup is on the 25th of August. That's a long way away. But that's what you get with the cuts in council services. But we'll also be able to pull your bin information. Again, using Bartech, we're already showing this on the website, but we'll be able to pull this forward and pre-populate your homepage with it. In terms of the council tax being paid by direct debit, we'll have a signal that we know that you are currently a cash payer. So we'll start to encourage you to pay by direct debit. If you're a direct debit payer, you won't see that at all. School admissions, we'll have information that you're on the waiting list at Whitmore High School, or you're applying for Whitmore High School. So we can start to push this personalised information out to you. Parking permits, we've got your renewal date. We know that you've got a planning application. And so again, this is really combining the details that you'd normally have to find in the account with the information you got in the website. Where it will also have an effect is that the news and events will be personalised. So we'll know your interests because you would have filled in your preferences. We'll also know your location, so you'll have location-sensitive news and events. So the stuff that when you're going to see your comms team, the messages they're sending out are going to be a lot more targeted and a lot more effective. Then finally, at the bottom, we've got your kids' cookery. So we're getting under increasing pressure to sell commercial services. And again, the key to advertising is targeting. So we'll have a lot more targeted commercial messages going at you. In this case, we know that Heather has 2 kids going to school, so we'll push the kids' cookery school. So I think, obviously, this is the final view. This is still a prototype for the website, but we have a first version of this going live in September with some personalisation, but the deep personalisation will kick off in after Christmas. But actually, basically brings this to a conclusion. Again, this is all kind of work in progress, and I guess it's the bit we always enjoy about the Jadu community. We're really open to feedback. This is just our starter and ideas for 10. It'd be really good to hear feedback from yourselves and work with other councils to try and kind of push this forward. I know this is built around what we're kind of trying to do at Harrow. Hope you found that useful, and we're around and the team's around for the rest of the day. So if you do have any questions or want to talk about stuff, please let us know. But thank you for listening.